of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So just a little, I guess this is just part of the introduction of our, not quite right. Can we move this back, please, this table? I don't like the location of the mic. I don't like mic stands in front of me. Move that back and closer to the table. Yeah, and across. That's it. That's much better. Hare Krishna. I'd like to thank the devotees for organizing this kirtan event today, tomorrow, Sunday. Hi, Paul. Good to see you again. How are you?
Very fine, Maharaj.
Great to see you. Hare Krishna, Paul. So, well, I guess we'll just hear something from our acharyas, the real Kripakaras, the Kirtankaris, those who are really servants of the holy name, who can reveal to us the essence of Sankirtan. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of course, was the inaugurator of this great Sankirtan movement. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Dadati Sva Padantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Sanyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakti Sankirtan ki jai. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement ki jai. Hare Krishna. I'd like to read something, and I request you to please try to listen and try to digest. Like with food, everybody eats more or less. We don't always digest, right? Hopefully we do, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes we eat too much. Sometimes we eat too much. Huh? Every day you're very steady, regular. Regular devotional service. Huh? Krishna says by regulation. Detachment, regulation. You can conquer over the miseries of material existence. Huh? We regularly take prasadam every day, but sometimes we may eat a little much and sometimes we may not be able to digest. Or we eat the wrong thing. One of our devotees is not here now, but husband got initiated, but the wife almost died. She ate the wrong thing a few weeks ago and almost left her body. She got food poisoning. Sometimes we can't digest. We have to know what we can digest. So the same thing with devotional service. Not everyone can digest the same thing. When we're sharing or preaching, call it what you will, then one has to a certain extent at least, be aware of what the audience or the devotees can digest. So I don't know if you can digest this, but try at least. So this is from Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's Harmonist. That was a magazine, English magazine he is producing, I don't know, I think every month, maybe more regularly, I can't remember. But regularly producing this magazine called The Harmonist. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj wanted to bring harmony. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement was one of the, let's say, external reasons of this movement was to bring harmony, to bring people together with a common, goal. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, in the same mood, wanted to bring everyone together. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also talks about the Ekadharma, how all the world dharmas will flow into the Sankirtan Dharma. Many others are performing Sankirtan in other ways. It may not be, you could say, on the same level of absoluteness as the Sankirtan of Lord Chaitanya. It may be conditional somewhat. But they're also glorifying in different ways the Supreme Lord, Lord Jesus, through song, through music, and so on. It's not to be decried or to be necessarily diminished. It just has to develop, mature, to the pure stage. Many all over the world, different degrees. It may not be so purifying in one sense, at least not universally, but it's nonetheless, it's a form of Sankirtan. But let's read what Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says here. There is no Dharma. Now, Dharma means, as we mentioned, perhaps we mentioned it yesterday in the class. We did discuss Dharma the last day or two. Referring to predominantly not so much just religion, but here the term means constitutional activity. What does that mean? Constitutional means that which is inherent, that which is eternally inherent with the living entity. Their permanent staibhav, their permanent situation of the living entity. Most practices are a means to an end. They're not called sadhya. Sadhya means ultimate result. And mostly it's sadhana, practice, to lead to an ultimate result. But what is the ultimate goal? To awaken or to reach our eternal constitutional nature, who we actually are. And it's okay to say we're spirit soul. That's the beginning of understanding. But as spirit soul, then what does that mean? So to realize our actual constitutional nature, our eternal nature, just like we have our ever-changing nature in this world, but we have a nature, and each of us is different. That's why we don't always see eye to eye. We sometimes, misunderstandings are there because we're conditioned and we tend to be attached to what we think we are and all about that. And we sometimes clash with others who are not in harmony with their perception. So that's always the case in the material. It's time immemorial. So that's not really Dharma, we may call it Dharma in the sense of religious practice, but even there we see constant clashes within and without from others who have a different angle of vision, a different opinion about it, etc. So to bring real harmony is another thing. It's not just forcing everyone to be like us. Sometimes groups think like that. We'll make everyone sign up. But even then you have problems within the same party, within the same family, within the same head. Even in our own heads we have problems. Huh? We're also bewildered, confused, and so on. Differences of opinion floating around, not clear. So it's based on our real Sanatana or eternal constitution, but it's not. So the real Dharma, he says, for all living beings, there is no Dharma, in fact. There is no other activity, there is no other business for the living being other than kirtan. That's the only thing which is constitution. Kirtan is a broad subject. It's not just sitting and chanting. That certainly, this absolutely is kirtan. Of course, depending on our relationship, how much kirtan reveals himself to us. But in reality, kirtan is the very being of the living entity, to live, to please Krishna, to always glorifying Krishna with one's words, everything, body, mind, words in this world, one's very life itself, ultimately, is simply for bringing pleasure to Krishna. That is Sankirtan. It's a state of consciousness, and Srila Prabhupada has given this worldwide Sankirtan movement. He's brought this movement worldwide. More Senapati Bhakta, Lord Chaitanya's chief field commander, Mantra Upashaka. He worshipped for the name who will go all over the world, as predicted, spreading this Sankirtan. To the extent, this is quite a strong word in one sense, but you can interpret it in various ways, but either way it's relevant. To the extent that one disbelieves in bhakti. Many people don't believe in bhakti. We do to a certain extent, but not absolutely, because otherwise, if we really did, we wouldn't be indulging in anything else. We wouldn't even be watching cricket. Of course, maybe you Indians are not so cricket-oriented, but if you're from India, every Indian-bodied man is, generally speaking, I'm sure there are many exceptions, but majority at least are, they're like God is like two gods. Cricket is one of them. And the other may be somebody else. It could be anyone, but it's not always Krishna, but somebody or another. But cricket is usually one of them. They can't resist it. It's kind of addiction. It's not that they disbelieve in devotional service, exactly. Well, they may do also because they don't follow actual devotional service path, but we don't really believe in it because we really believe in Krishna. If we really believe in kirtan, we wouldn't want to do anything else. We just want kirtan to chant the glories of the Lord incessantly. So to the extent that one disbelieves, and many people completely disbelieve, probably the majority, completely disbelieve in bhakti or devotional service, and then he says, as denoted. What does that mean, denoted? How would you define denoted? As represented. Haribol! Wow, look who's here from Kuala Lumpur. Haribol, long time. Kashi Mishra, Haribol. Vallabhi, Hare Krishna. Haribol, welcome. So to the extent that one disbelieves in devotional service, which Bhaktisiddhanta means kirtan. The essence of that is represented. Devotional service is fully present in kirtan. This is how, everything else is there. In other places, Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj says that sadhana, he defines sadhana. Sadhana is defined, that is that which helps us to develop our attraction for kirtan. So whatever we do in devotional service, he says, if it doesn't help us to develop an attraction for kirtan, is an impediment on the path of devotion. You know what impediment means? An obstacle, a block. Our devotional service is, you could say, measured almost by the degree that we're developing an attraction for kirtan. Everything else is fine. And there are many limbs of devotion. So this is Kali Yuga. This is not Satyuga. And there will always be, exceptions, and Krishna could do anything he likes. He sees the sincerity of the devotee. This is a general principle. Lord Chaitanya said, does not talk about deity worship very much. He didn't emphasize it. He didn't open a single temple. He simply performed kirtan with the public. Bas. Just kirtan. Prasadam. Don't worry, there is prasadam in the Sankirtan movement. But not to the extent that it interferes with kirtan. That's the essential feature of our movement. We could go on, and this is only the first chord. I probably won't get past the first one by the looks of it. May not even finish the first one. Don't give it much time. So he says, to the extent you disbelieve in this and you don't accept the kirtan of the holy name is the essence of bhakti. What to speak of bhakti itself, most people don't even accept that. But within bhakti, kirtan is the most essential factor. In fact, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said himself on several occasions when he was asked, of all the limbs of devotional service, which is the most essential and important? Every time he said kirtan. Kirtan. Chanting the holy name. In other words, if one thinks that all wants cannot be fulfilled by kirtan, he's rewording it. So all wants. Now that doesn't mean to say you are necessarily going to get the job that you're dreaming about by doing kirtan. It doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the beautiful girl that you're meditating upon to have as your wife by doing kirtan. I hope you don't. It would be a disaster. Or vice versa. The ladies are meditating on a man that they think is going to protect them and give them all what they need, another illusion of this world, by doing kirtan. Because that is not, actually that's not believing in kirtan. We're using kirtan for another reason. That's not really kirtan. It's a reflection of kirtan, but it's not real kirtan. And it will not lead to the result. As long as we're expecting something material or something self-centered out of kirtan, we don't get the result of the real essence of kirtan. We never realize what it really means. If one thinks, so what does it mean? All one's wants are fulfilled. What does the living entity want? Let's face it, what do we really want in life? What do you really want? Money, right? Gopal, you want money, isn't it? We really want money. Huh? And Sri Ananda, what do we really want? Lots and lots of prasadam, right?
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea, I must say. It's not a bad one. But why do we want these things? Maybe we want a position. I can become a temple president. Yes. Maybe after that I can become a GBC. But who knows? If I play my cards right, I can become a sannyasi. And then I'll get all the Mahaprasadam if I want. Just imagine how wonderful that would be. Isn't it marvelous? And perhaps Prabhupada even writes about this in the Nectar of Instruction. Eventually you think, well, maybe I am actually God. I can become God. People have not realized it yet. At least I'm the Messiah. At least that much. Yes. I used to think like that when I was young. I was a teenager. A little bit, not much. I had a very good lesson. The Lord gave me a nice lesson, which I'll never forget. Very merciful. So, not that type of one. That's not the idea. But what is the purpose of all those things? What do you really want? What's behind it? What do you really want? Do you really want... haven't you found out sometimes that you want something, you get it, and you're still not satisfied? Have you ever experienced that? And you wish you never got it in the first place? It's made your life even worse than it was before. Right? Have you ever experienced that? I guess, admit it or not, I think everybody has. You may have forgotten. But what is that what are we really looking for? Quite a simple answer. It's not, let me think now. Let me answer. I'm really looking for the latest version of, Apple, Mac, what do you call it? iPhone. No, not really. What are we looking for inside? Come on, what are we looking for? Quick, yes. Okay, that's a pretty straight to the point answer. You could add a few things to that. Maybe we want peace. Maybe deeper in still, we're looking for real love, aren't we? Is that what you were going to say? That's what he just said.
Freedom.
Yeah. You want freedom? Yeah, well, that's a kind of related. Happiness, I mean, that make you feel happy, won't it? Yeah. And it's not really the thing. We want these things because we think that they'll make us happy. Or we think that I'll experience real love, isn't it? If I have this girl, I'll experience real love. Eternal love. Unending eternal love. Doesn't take long to find out it's not quite like that. Or the ladies for the man. Why did I marry this guy? Or whatever it is. But we're looking for it. We want it because it's constitutional. The nature, Nanda Maya Vyasat, every living entity is looking for happiness. Because we are part and parcel of Krishna. Krishna is the reservoir of pleasure. We have that little quality too. But when we're connected to Krishna, you also experience that. A spark out of fire is not constitutional. It dies. It's not its nature to die. Its nature is to blaze in the fire, isn't it? If you gave me more time, I would go on to that stage of blazing fire, but you don't give me any time. I'm already over time. So what to do? I can carry on in the class tomorrow morning, okay? Is that all right? 8 o'clock in the morning. Is there a class tomorrow? Maybe there's not. I don't know.
Yes.
Every day the schedule is a little different. And there may be some adjustments, by the way, in the schedule tomorrow. Some of the devotees from Australia some of them are very humble and they just accept whatever comes their way. Only Madhavananda Prabhu makes his own schedule. We hear you went on Harinam, is that correct or not? Where did you go? Pardon? Where is it?
Park.
Park? Car park? Are there any parks around here? I don't know there were any parks. We went to the bird park. Chiling Park. It's not exactly a park, is it? When you say park, we think of like a nice garden with lakes and trees and what have you. So, yeah. So tomorrow, don't miss out. 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, okay? But I just finished the sentence. Can I finish the sentence or not? Okay. He'll turn the sound system off in a minute. Huh? What's that?
Sound man is here.
Oh, oh my God, Nagman. He on the sound, we really got to watch out here. Woo! In other words, if he thinks that all wants, in other words, the real want of the living entity is that we want to have, I want satisfaction, I want happiness, I want to be, whatever. We just don't know where to find it. Even the Rolling Stones couldn't find it. I can't get no satisfaction. That was their so-called kirtan. So, if we think that we can get satisfaction by any other means other than through kirtan, to that extent, one is nastika. What is a nastika? Confirmed. A nastika is an atheist. Bear that in mind. At least we're still possessed with some kind of atheistic tendency, due to lifetimes of condition, godless. We don't believe in God. To the degree, I'll finish the sentence. The degree of help one gives, listen to this, the degree of help one gives in propagating bhakti, as denoted by kirtan, listen carefully, I'm going to ask you what I said. The degree of help one gives in propagating bhakti, as denoted by kirtan, is the sole, that means the only measure of one's belief in God. The only measure. If you don't help the spreading of Krishna consciousness, that means our belief in God is very small. Because God has appeared in the form of Sankirtan. On the other hand, a man is a nashtika, disbeliever, to the extent that he obstructs the kirtan. So anyone who tries to impede the performance of Sankirtan, to that degree, he's a nashtika, an atheist. Because the purpose of this movement is to spread Sankirtan. Since the name has to be chanted every moment, even while eating, this is especially for some of you here today, especially, don't pass the buck. Especially even while eating and sleeping. You are very good at sleeping. You have to practice chanting while you sleep. Everyone's good at eating. You have to practice that. Now, there's a science of chanting while you eat. Don't imitate it. You'll make a mess all over the floor and table everywhere. There's someone next to you, they'll be covered in dal or rice or something. Since bhakti, denoted by kirtan, is the only dharma of the living being, since there is no dharma but this, where then is the time to get rid of flood or famine or found hospitals? Those who claim to be positivists but forget the greatest of all facts, death. Those who are fallen like the blind man led by the blind, and who under the spell of the enchantress, Maya, loiter about like travellers without an objective. It is such people who have time to work other than Hari Kirtan, or chanting of the holy names. It's a long sentence, I'm sorry. All efforts except Hari Kirtan cause samsara, birth and death, the worldly sojourn, the road leading not to the east but in the opposite direction. On the other hand, by all time Hari Kirtan, one turns away from every other direction to face the east or the journey homeward. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. So incessant kirtan, okay? Kirtaniya Sadahari. I'll hand over now to our MC. Right, I do have to step out for a while to organize